Good afternoon, everybody. It is April 23rd, day after Earth Day. I hope that you took some time to celebrate, to bring in some good vibes. I have to say it was probably one of the most exciting Earth Days I can recall. It seems like we're paying so much more attention to maybe the things that matter is not probably the right word, but some of the things that maybe perhaps we've taken for granted. Something that humans tend to do very well under duress and under great strain is to reflect, to have a heart yearning for what is important. It seems to bring it around. It's like pulling the car around and you get in and you think, wow, this is good. This is really good. So I know that there's been a lot of very positive channels out there saying, you know, this is a great opportunity. There are lots and lots of layered benefits, and I would say maybe silver linings. And all of us are kind of discovering them at different times and at a different pace. So I think, you know, right now especially, if you do have a few minutes to sit and write or record like I'm doing now, I think it's worth an awful lot to kind of commemorate some of the things that we're going through right now, because we are changing history. We are changing history every single day when we get up, every single day when we put somebody else alongside us and helping them in thinking about them, in taking better care of ourselves. There is a massive timeline shift that we are entertaining, and we are also bridging at this very, very moment. I don't have an awful lot of experience on YouTube. I would like to sort of thank you for joining me, and also I'd also like to apologize up front that I'm not very digitally minded, so you might find some of my videos entertaining because I don't know how to edit. I'm still trying to figure out how to post. You know, in fairness, I did not grow up with computers. I grew up in the country, and I was well into high school before we even had computers. So I am trying my best. If anyone knows of really great tutorials or someone I can follow, please let me know. But I have decided that I think it's time. There's so many great channels out there giving you great information. But I felt that perhaps maybe it's important for me to tell you what I am sensing and what I know as well, because perhaps maybe some others of you out there are potentially feeling the same way, and maybe something I have to say might be of help, because I think sometimes when we are going through great changes, it can feel like a very lonely road. Although we're all together, we definitely have different experiences. So to get to my thoughts on hand, I've always, since I was a child, I've always seen numbers and colors and a few other things. And as I've gotten older, I've been through my own experiences through life that have challenged me for certain and have rebirthed me in many ways. And coming into this experience now, I am feeling quantum shifts in a way that I started experiencing them a few years ago, and more or less kept them to myself because I thought if I really spoke openly about them that people might think I'm a little cuckoo. Some people may. So to start with each video, my plan is to drop a video every week and hopefully expand my program. And my program is OPTIMYSTICS. I have been entertaining this and doing writing since about, I would say about 2010, and have compiled an awful lot of information. So I feel that now I've finally got time I've also struggled terribly with a lot of health issues, so it really took me down a few different roads that I had to address in order to be able to stay on the planet. So let's check in for today and the next coming week. What I'm really sensing, I'm very, very interested in this particular COVID-19 and our blood plasma, the way the blood plasma is responding. Obviously, there's an awful lot of unknowns, but what's very fascinating is how helpful blood is to this particular, I think the answers potentially may lie in the blood. So I believe that it's extremely important right now that if any of us are able to, we want to focus on our vessels. It's not about starting an exercise regime or doing radical weight loss or any of those types of things. It really is about just taking a minute, checking in with your body and saying, okay, there's a few things I'd like to shift. There's a few things I'd like to change. And if you have the time now, it's really important to set those goals. I generally work on a 6-week cycle. And the reason why I do that is because it's really hard to, I believe, for me anyway, all I can speak to is what I know. It can be very difficult to kind of lay 3 months down on paper and say, okay, this is what I'm doing. Obviously life happens. There's all kinds of things that can happen, right? So having those goals, I think it's reasonable. And also your body system has its own rhythms. Some people's rhythms are 3 weeks. Some people's rhythms are 2 months. So getting to know what your rhythm feels like too is also extremely helpful. Some of our rhythms now have been changing for sure. Some of them have been speeding up and some of them have been slowing down. So I think it might be worth not necessarily setting a hard and fast rule, but really just to check in with yourself and say, look, how do I roll? And I think there's value to that. So I'm going to leave that with you. But I generally get an old school calendar. I know most of you, or potentially some of you, do digital, but I like to kind of see it. I like the tactile experience of writing down thoughts and writing down what I'd like to do for that week and so on and so forth. And I think it can be really valuable. So for me, that works. But if you've got it in your phone or if you've got it in your tablet or your iPad, whatever you use, and you'll start to get sort of a picture. And we're putting pieces to a puzzle. We're laying it all out right now globally, and we're making this creation day by day. So give yourself permission to perhaps maybe create an overlay on your own life. That can be really, really empowering. But make sure that you try to do it with kindness and understanding, and gratefulness as well. Be gracious toward yourself. Be gracious that life has taken you this far. Okay, so let's just skip now. Let's just take a note and change a tune. Okay. Years ago, I was looking at 2020 and 2022. Those particular years were extremely, well, they seemed like 100 years to come, but they were extremely important to me. And I honestly will tell you that we are in this. It's like the chrysalis, really. I really believe that we are in a really large form of transcendence and transformation. What we do with it is completely entirely up to us. However, I believe that we have an opportunity to basically quantum leap. And what's really interesting about time is that time itself, yes, we have a watch, yes, we look at it day and day and day, but when you make changes energetically within your life, or you clear out something karmically in your body and in your mind and in your spirit, it can have a retroactive effect. So something that maybe you couldn't make right in this life, this timeline, this memory, you can go back in memory, have that conversation with that person that maybe you never got to have a chance to have that conversation, or maybe a situation came out the way it rolled out, the way that you didn't want it to. Take time to think about how you would have liked that situation to roll out. The power of suggestion, but energetically what you're doing is you're going back and you're doing housekeeping. And that is a form of clearing. It's also a form of intention. So those things now are extremely important to do. Some people might say, oh, well, that's delusional, or maybe that's not reality. But what you have are memories. So you have the reality of that memory of what really happened, what occurred. There's nothing wrong with aligning that memory with what you would have wanted and what you would have hoped for. And within that, focus on what you could have done differently to either be a better person in that situation, how you could have been more forgiving to the situation, whether that be forgiving yourself, forgiving somebody else, those types of things. There is real value in doing this right now. It sort of sets the table for something else to come forward. There's a lot of value in that. I don't want to keep my videos too long. I'm very aware of time, and I know people don't have an awful lot of, well, they have more time now, I guess, than they've done before. But I'll become more comfortable, I think, as I get along. But I just wanted to touch base and let you know that what I can tell you, with no word of a lie, is in some of my visions and my visitations, where I have certainly not been in Kansas, I have not been in the neighborhood, I have been greeted by beings that have told me that we are doing so much better than we think. And I remember disbelieving them and sort of crying out to them and saying, do you not know what's going on down here? Can you not see what's going on down here? And them comforting me and saying, stay the course, stay the course. And so I hold on to that. It has held me over some very trying times. So all I can say to you is that this is not just happening globally to us. What we are doing now, the power of innovation and love and courage and kindness, the ramifications of that, they go so much farther beyond this realm that we know. I know that to be true. So take heart in that, regardless of where you are right now today, what might you be fearing tomorrow, what you're worried about. Call out in a way that's comfortable for you, but invite support, because we really need to trust that we have that now. And I know it can be very difficult to trust that. I do. So until we speak again, I'm learning how to turn my comments on and this and that and the next thing. However, I want to let you know that I am on Instagram. I also I also do consultations through video or telephone or email. So these are my contact pieces of information. When I learn how to put them down in the description box, I'll do that. So thank you for bearing with me. Thank you for joining me. And do take very, very good care out there. All right. Until next time.